And today I'm going to show you how I made a little card with one of the new stamp set bundles from the Stampin' Up! 2024 Celebration brochure. So it's a little different bundle. Normally Stampin' Up! Has bundles that are dies and, oh goodness, I'm all sorts of crazy on here. Has bundles that are stamp sets and dies or stamp sets and punches. But the bundle for the Celebration event is actually a stamp set and an embossing folder. So it's a little different, but definitely a good one. And one that you can get for free with an order of $100 or greater starting on January 4th. So again, this is part of Stampin' Up! Celebration event. The little flower cart that I've got on here is a different stamp set bundle from the actual mini catalog, which is the January to April 2024 mini catalog. And I love the bundle. It's so cute. It's got a little flower cart. There's got all sorts of dies that go with it, so it's a good one. Of course, I just used the dies on this card today, but the bundle that has got stamps and things that go with it as well. So, hey, Terry, thanks for hopping in. And I appreciate your comment on the card, but I can't even take credit for the design of it because I totally cased it right out of the Celebration brochure. There's one that's very, very, very similar. A couple little things that I did differently on it, but it's pretty much the same card from the Celebration brochure. So this is what we're going to be making today. Again, it's pretty quick and simple and easy to do. So, all right, let me set that aside and we'll talk a little bit about the stamp set bundle. So, hey, Kathy, thanks for hopping in. So this is, again, a stamp set bundle that is available for free with an order of $100 or greater from Stampin' Up! During Celebration. So it's a great time to order. And Celebration starts on January 4th and runs through February 28th. So make sure you're getting your order placed during that time frame. And yeah, so then you can pick up this bundle. So hey, Julie, thanks for hopping in. I'm glad you like the card. Like I said, I totally stole it right out of the Celebration brochure, so I can't even take credit for the design of it, but I loved it, so I couldn't help myself. I did it. So this is the softly sophisticated stamp set. Got a couple of sentiments in it, and then there's some two-step stamping for flowers. So this set goes together. So we've got the greenery or the leaves and the flowers on this one, and then there are larger flowers and a different set of leaves that are designed to stamp together. Or you can do them separately, whatever it is you want to do. But if you want to get the two-step stamping going, that is how it works with this stamp set. It is bundled, like I said, in the Celebration brochure with a 3D embossing folder, and it is called, obviously, the Softly Sophisticated 3D Embossing Folder. So hopefully the light's catching it okay so you can see what it looks like, and we'll be able to see it a little bit here when I use it a little later in the video as well. A couple other things that I used, and like I said, this is the flower cart dies, and I use this die and this little die here to create my little flower cart. There is a stamp set that goes with it that's bundled in the mini catalog, the January to April 2024 mini catalog. Again, be available to order starting on January 4th, so it's a really cute one. And then the other die set that I used is called Timeless Arrangements, and the only thing that I used out of this one is just the little die to cut out my sentiment. So it was pretty easy, quick and easy little sentiment, quick and easy little card. So there we go. Hey, Sherry, thanks for hopping in. Glad you're joining today. Couple things before I get going, just a few reminders. Online exclusives, these are available obviously in the online store. They're online only, so be sure that as you're putting in your orders during the month of, well, anytime, go take a peek at the online exclusives. If you go in and click on the menu on the upper left when you're in the online store and then go down to the online exclusives, you'll see them, and it's all items. They're not in any catalog. They're not bound by any time frames, so there are Christmas things out there, there are spring things out there, there are just all sorts of, a whole kind of a wide arrangement, wide array, I don't know, whatever. You all know what I'm trying to say. Wide variety might be a better word that is out there that you can order from. So again, there are some recent ones that have been added. There are the little dragonflies and birds and the Garden Meadow stamp set bundle and the Meandering Meadows Designer Series paper and the cute little fluffiest friends. So, all right. And then also, Stampin' Up! Does have their last chance product sale and carryover items from the current mini catalog, which is the September to December 2023 catalog. There are a lot of items, like 2 pages of retiring items from the catalog, and once they are gone, they're gone. So some of the items are on sale, some of the items have already sold out, so make sure you're getting your orders put in for those last chance products before the catalog ends on January 3rd. But again, everything that's on the retiring list is while supplies last. So order early if there are things that you're wanting. All right, I think that's it for all of the updates. Hey, Danette, thanks for joining. All right, so let's get going on the card. So I've got a crumb cake card base. This one is cut to 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4.25 across the middle. And I've got a little piece of the Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper, and I do love anything plaid, gingham, whatever. I always love it. The backside is equally as pretty on this paper, so it's hard to cover it up, but I had to pick one side or the other, and I didn't think this would look very good behind the flower cart. So I'm gluing it down so that the plaid side is up. And again, like I said, it's from the Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper that will be available to order beginning on January 4th in the new mini catalog. Using a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue to adhere this down, and the piece of Designer Series paper is cut to about 4.25 by 5. So if I've cut everything correctly and I don't mess up gluing it, it should cover the entire card front. So there we go. Hey, Julie, thanks for joining. I appreciate everybody coming in a little early today. We got some family in town and have some things going on this afternoon. So I figured I'd hop on a little early and do my video instead of skipping it completely. So hopefully early is better than not at all. All right. Then I've got a little piece of crumb cake cardstock that I embossed with the Softly Sophisticated embossing folder. So hopefully you can catch a little glimpse of what it looks like. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a muted embossing to me, but it's really pretty and kind of delicate is what I will call it. And it measures about 2.25 by 4.75. And we're just going to take that and stick it right to the card front with some Stampin' Seal. I'm going to try to be careful to not smoosh my embossing because sometimes I get a little heavy-handed with my adhesives and smash things down that I don't mean to. But I think we're doing all right on this one. I'm going to flip it over here and just try to stick it roughly centered. And the nice thing is that, you know, it's got almost the grid lines on the piece of Designer Series paper, so it gives me a good idea of hopefully getting it on here straight. All right, so there we go. Next up, I totally forgot to cut my piece of basic white cardstock. So I'm going to have to go grab that because I don't know how I forgot to cut that. Apparently I was not paying attention. So it's measuring 4 by 2.75. So let me go grab a piece. Just when I think I'm all put together, then I do something like that, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So, all right. That's what happens when I get things ready late at night, which I did this late last night, and probably shouldn't have been trying to cut paper up when I was tired. So, all right. So I have got Granny Apple Green ink here, and I've got one of the greenery images, which is the kind of taller, thinner one from the Softly Sophisticated stamp set, and we're going to be stamping this set of flowers with it. So I'm going to start by stamping in Granny Apple Green across the little piece of cardstock here. And I think we'll just stick that one there. And then I'm going to stamp here next to it. And just do another one over here. And final one, we'll stick that one here. And then, because this is two-step stamping, I'm going to grab my Balmy Blue ink and the little flower image, again from the Softly Sophisticated stamp set. And it's pretty easy. Like I said, I say that bravely now before I stamp the first image, but it's pretty easy to line this one up. Obviously when I'm not, there we go. So just kind of have to, like I said, the way that I find it easiest is to line up the top flower, make sure that one's in the right spot, and then I can kind of maneuver everything else around underneath it. So once you have the top one in the right place, then it's pretty easy to slide it right or left to get your flowers lined up like they should be. All right. And then we'll do the final one on here. There we go. All right, I'm going to close that one up before I stick my fingers in there accidentally. And then we're just going to take a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals and we're going to stick this to the card front. So I use my little chopped in half, chopped up Stampin' Dimensionals. I know not everybody loves these, so if you don't like them and prefer to use whole dimensionals, there's nothing stopping you from doing it. So I just prefer the half ones. I like the size of them a little bit better, and they stick just as well as a whole one. I just find that they work a lot of times better on the back of smaller sentiments and smaller images if I've got them all chopped up and cut in half. All right, again, same thing with this flower image. I'm going to roughly go try to get it straight and centered. There we go. And the next thing I'm going to do is I have got some of the balmy blue and white variegated 1/2-inch ribbon, which is from the current annual catalog. And I'm just going to take a piece of that and we're just going to stick it right to the card front. So I'm just going to measure it out here and do a little snip. Whoop, there we go. I think I'm going to angle this side just a little bit more because the other side is a little more angled and this one's a little more straight. There we go. That looks better to me. And then I'm going to grab my Stampin' Seal and we're just going to run it right across kind of the middle of the, well, not middle, lower middle of the card front here. And then I'm just going to take the ribbon, layer it over the front, hopefully make sure that I've got it on the actual adhesive part. And there we go. And this ribbon is fairly see-through, but Stampin' Seal underneath it, I can't see it through it. So that's why I want a Stampin' Seal rather than glue dots. I was afraid that glue dots would kind of make it look like little globs of glue and things underneath it. And so Stampin' Seal is nice and flat. Liquid glue, I'm afraid, would have oozed up and made a really icky mess. So, all right. Next thing that I did was I went ahead and pre-cut, and I'll show you which pieces I cut. And this is crumb cake cardstock, and this is copper clay. Ooh, there we go. And the dies, oh, I've set things in all sorts of crazy places. The dies that I use, this one is the one that actually makes the cart if you're not going to stamp it. So there's a stamped cart that you can make with the stamp set, but we aren't stamping the cart today. We're just making it. So this one, and then this set of wheels. So those are the wheels, and it cuts the wheels and the little, I don't know, is it stand, whatever you want to call it. This piece and the wheels all get cut out at one time with just one pass through the die cutting machine. So it's a cute little die set and well designed, so it makes it easy for us. The next thing that I did is, and you may not be able to see it very well on there, but I can see it here in person. When I put this together, there was kind of no definition between the two pieces. So this is the back of it. Again, when you die cut it, two pieces will come out. So this is the back, this is the front of the cart. And because I used the same color, there wasn't a lot of definition. So I grabbed a blending brush, or you can use a sponge dauber too if you prefer, and a little bit of pecan pie ink. And we're just going to ink that up, do a little brush off on the cardstock. And then I'm just going to put a little, just sort of put a little bit of color along the edge of it, or throw it on the paper in front of me. Just a little color on the edge of it. And again, I don't know how well it shows up in the video, but I can definitely see it here. To give it a little definition so that it stands out a little bit from the background. So that was all that I used pecan pie for. And here's my Stampin' Seal. So I'm going to grab that again and just going to put a little Stampin' Seal here, a little bit over on the other side. And then we're going to stick the two pieces together. And they line up really easily. So even I can do it. So there you go. So that gives it a little more definition. Hopefully you can see that on the little cart. So the next thing that I did is, again, when you cut out the wheels, it comes apart. It looks like, I thought originally this was going to be all connected together, but it's not. It cuts 3 separate pieces. So it's pretty cool how it worked. So I'm going to grab a little Stampin' Seal and I'm just going to run it, maybe, there we go, right along the edge of this. If you prefer to use glue dots, you can try to do that, or liquid glue, but I was kind of afraid with the liquid glue because it's such little pieces that I would end up with liquid glue stuck kind of on everything. Plus the Stampin' Seal gives me a little bit of room, like if I decide like I didn't want it stuck there, wanted to move it over a little bit, then that gives me a second to be able to move things around as well when I'm using my Stampin' Seal, because I haven't smooshed it down really hard yet. So all right. Now I've got some glue dots here that I'm also going to do a little bit of sticking together. A little bit of sticking together, does that make sense? A little bit of adhering. I'm going to take a glue dot and we're going to put it on the back of the little single wheel here. And I've just rolled it up a little bit so that it hopefully won't stick out from underneath the cart. And I'm going to take that, make sure that that's where I want it to be. Take this one, make sure this is where I want it to be. I may tilt the cart just a hair. Oh, there we go. All right, I think we've got those where I want them to be. Maybe, there we go. All right. And then the last little piece of this is just putting the stand on. And again, I've already got my adhesive over here. So I'm just gonna try to kind of line it up. And again, I don't know that there's any like specific, it has to go on exactly a certain way, but I just sort of stuck it on like that. And then once I knew it was in the spot I wanted it to be, then I kind of came to the back side and smushed it down a little bit. So that's how it looks on the back, which is not awesome, but nobody's going to see it anyway. But there's a little bit of adhesive that's going to hold that on. And then we're going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to stick it to the card front. So I'm actually going to make sure that my Stampin' Dimensionals are kind of stuck down over the top of all these little pieces that I've just stuck on here, so that we make sure that they're securely held on. And going to do a little bit over here, and I'm going to put one here right in the middle to make sure that piece stays put. Another one over here on the wheel. Actually, I'll probably go like that. And then one up here, and I think we'll probably, I'm going to snip one up and put a little bit underneath each of the wheels here as well. All right, so I've got that one. We're going to stick it underneath the center of the wheel. And then another one here. Snip it and stick it in the center, underneath the center of the wheel there. And the only reason I really did the underneath the center, particularly of this wheel, is because the glue dot is on there, and I didn't want the glue dot to stick the wheel kind of down to the card front, if that makes sense. So when it gets smooshed in an envelope, sometimes if you have a little adhesive, like I've got the extra Stampin' Seal and the little glue dot there, sometimes it'll smoosh down to the card front and stick down kind of and look a little weird if you put Stampin' Dimensionals only on the very edges of it or something like that. All right, and then I'm going to take the little cart and we're just going to put that over the top of the flowers here. And I think we'll go about right there. And then smush everything down, and that should hold everything in place because I've got dimensionals and glue dots and Stampin' Seal holding everything together. All right, next up, let me put these away before I end up losing track of everything. I'm going to stamp the sentiment, and again, it's from the Softly Sophisticated stamp set, and it's a little hello there. And I've got Azure Afternoon ink, and I'm stamping it on balmy blue cardstock. So, all right, there we go. And close that up. And then grab my die set here, which again is the Timeless Arrangements dies. And I'm going to grab the smallest little rectangle die here, and it fits really nicely around the sentiment. The sentiment. So I'm going to go do a quick die cut with that. So I'll be off screen for a second. I'll be right back. Hopefully y'all are enjoying your Friday. I can't even believe it's Friday, and we've only got like 2.5 weeks till Christmas. So there we are. We've got our die cut sentiment here. Get that out of the way. And then I'm going to take a little bit of, actually I'm going to grab a glue dot, and we're going to stick that underneath the left-hand side of my sentiment. And then I'm going to grab a Stampin' Dimensional, and we're going to put that underneath the right-hand side. So there we go. And then I'm going to put it over here on the card front. And the reason I put the glue dot here, dimensional here, is because I'm going to use the glue dot to stick it to the little cart, and then the Stampin' Dimensional will stick the sentiment to the card front over on this side. So there we go. All right. How did I pick Azure Afternoon? Well, I totally cased this from the catalog, and it looked like Azure Afternoon. I cased it from the Celebration brochure, and it looked like Azure Afternoon ink to me on there, and that was how I picked it. It could be Blueberry Bushel. I didn't read the directions at all. I just went, oh, it looks like Azure Afternoon, and I like it with balmy blue, so that's what I'm going with. So, all right. I've got some of the brushed brass butterflies. And in the original card that they had some of the little dragonflies and birds. I have lots of the brushed brass butterflies, and I only have one pack of the dragonflies and birds, so I was just, using some of these up. Not that, either one will work because they're both flat and they're both shiny and they're both kind of this similar color. but stuck 2 of them up, one here, and then a little one over here on the cart. And that's really it for the card front. So it's pretty quick and easy. A little bit of shiny on it. And like I said, just did some quick stamping, a little die cutting, sticking things together, and it's all done. So, oh, you like that? It stands out more? Yep. So, yeah, like I said, blueberry bushel I think would look pretty on here as well. You could do it probably in the copper clay if you wanted it to be a little more matchy-matchy, but I thought the blue looked pretty. So, all right, and blue is one of my favorite colors too. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp, sorry if I banged into the stand there with my elbow. Stamp the flowers in granny apple green and balmy blue inks again on a panel of basic white cardstock. This is cut to about 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just gonna stamp this twice. So once a little bit higher, once a little bit lower. And balmy blue for the flowers again, so using the same colors that I used on the card front, and just kind of again lining up the top flower first and then moving the stamp set or moving the stamp around so that everything else is in the right spot after that. So starting with the flower up here at the top and then sliding it around, and there we go. So love the 2-step stamping when it's quick and easy to stamp with like that. Gonna grab a little Stampin' Seal and put this on the inside of the card. There we go. And we'll be all done for today. So all the details for this card will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. I will link directly to the blog post once it goes up around 8 o'clock in the morning, and that'll be on Saturday, I guess. And yeah, so you'll be able to see all the measurements, all the stuff that I used. There'll be a printable PDF tutorial and all that good stuff for the card out there tomorrow. I will plan to be live around 2 o'clock Eastern Time next week, Tuesday, and around 2 o'clock Eastern Time next week, Friday, out on YouTube. Hopefully I won't have to change the times again, but thanks for being patient and hopping in a little early today. I appreciate it. So let me know if you have any questions about anything. Again, all the details will be on my blog tomorrow, and I'll link directly to it then. So, and I'm glad you're liking the card. I thought it was just way too cute and was trying to figure out what to do today, and I love the little flower card, so I couldn't help myself. I had to do it. So, all right. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay warm. We're supposed to be actually warming up a little bit here in New Jersey, being a little warmer this weekend. So I'm glad to hear that because we were freezing and it actually had snow yesterday. Yeek. Although it didn't stick around, but all good. I guess it's Christmas, so I can't complain too much. All right. Have a wonderful week.